Welcome to our virtual open house program. We're so pleased to have you with us. My name is Gerard Turbide. I'm the Vice President for Enrollment Services at Wells. You are on an incredible journey right now, searching for the right college, your home for the next 4 years, an educational experience that will prepare you for success, a transformative experience that will help you define your character, who you are, and what you will accomplish in this world, the difference you want to make. Wells College will prepare you to be that difference that you want to make in the world. Our mission is all about that. Our mission is to teach students to think critically, reason wisely, act humanely as they cultivate meaningful lives. Now more than ever, the world needs that kind of leadership grounded in that mission. People guided by critical thinking, wisdom, kindness, the desire to make a meaningful and positive difference in the world. We'll prepare you for that role. Wells College is a very special place, a nationally recognized college set in the peaceful little village right on the shore of Cayuga Lake, the longest of the Finger Lakes. You will get unmatched personal attention at Wells. 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio. Fewer than 400 students. You have the ability to create your own major. This is a campus where everyone is on a first name basis, and we see each person for the unique and special human being that they are. Small is powerful. We can do everything, one student at a time. We can guarantee that you'll have close and meaningful connections with faculty. We can assure that you'll have full access to our resources and our programs, and we will hear your voice in and out of the classroom. We care about every one of our students and every one of our alumni. And when you decide to join the Wells community, you're not just attending college, you're becoming part of a family. Your experience is not just about being a member of your class, but you're welcomed by every student at Wells. And you'll be part of a broader network of Wells College alumni who span the globe, but still consider Wells to be their home. Our curriculum goes way beyond the liberal arts, blending real-world experiences. Every student at Wells pursues internships of one type or another, and you can even do your first internship at the end of your first semester in your first year. We have innovative programs in business and the health sciences and offer interdisciplinary career-oriented experiences that prepare you to succeed. We will work with you to chart your individual path, intentional one-on-one advising, and if you're undecided about your major, we have an exploratory program to help you figure that out. And we are a community with over 150 years of history and traditions, a real living honor code that our students not only sign their names to when they decide to join the Wells family, but our students and alumni seek to bring the principles of the honor code out into the world. Ask any Wells student or graduate whether they are odd or even, and you'll quickly see how our history and traditions bind us and connect generations of Wells. Today, we want to have a conversation with you about the tremendous value of a Wells College education. Private college education that is affordable, personalized to you, one that combines the liberal arts with real-world experience in a small, inclusive, and surprisingly diverse community. All that on a breathtaking campus environment that will instantly feel like your home. And we are open. Our students and our campus community pulled together in this global pandemic, and we accomplished something extraordinary. So as we are now approaching the upcoming break, our students have been on campus since August, engaging in real-life, in-person experiences. We're now transitioning to our remote conclusion of the fall semester, and we're focused on our plan to begin the spring semester once again here on the Wells campus. We hope you'll come to see the campus yourself, and I hope that today is just one of many conversations that we'll have, and that we'll see you on campus for a personal visit very soon. So let's talk about your bright future at Wells, how Wells changes lives, and how Wells might be the perfect place for you. We've assembled a panel of experts, if you will, members of our campus community. And at this point, I'm going to ask each of them to introduce themselves. They're going to tell you a little bit about their connection to Wells and maybe answer the question, why Wells for them. And we'll start with our president, Dr. Jonathan Gibraltar.
Thank you, Gerard. My name is John Gibraltar, and I'm the president of Wells College. I've been now at Wells for just over 5 years, and it has been the most professionally rewarding opportunity of my career. And I say that because I've had an opportunity these 5+ years to meet some remarkable students and to get to know them on a level that I've never had before at any other college or university I've ever been at. I say at Wells that we get to know, you're not just a number at Wells, and you're not just a name. Our faculty and staff take the time to get to know your heart, and they get to work with you closely and personally to help to get to know you and to help to direct you and help you to direct yourself towards your life on your journey of where you ultimately will end up. It's not unusual for a Wells alum to continue to call their Wells advisor to ask them their opinion, their advice, sometimes long after they've gone on to graduate school. What Gerard said is very true. What matters most to us are personal connections and relationships. And even during this pandemic, that hasn't changed. While we've been remote on Zoom, Google Meets, Microsoft Teams, we still have created opportunities for engagement that I think have been extraordinary. So thank you for joining us today, and I'll have more to say in a little while.
Next, Ty McBride.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ty McBride, as Mr. Gerard said. I'm a junior at Wells College. I play basketball for the college, and I love it. I mean, it's a beautiful place. The environment's amazing, and everybody's there to support you, and they want the best for you. And there's gonna be hard times, but in those hard times, if you reach out, everybody's there for you. Even like just saying a swim coach, if you even just go talk to her, it's a random person, she will help you try to find someone for that situation that you're in. And as if you guys decide to come, you see me on campus, and I promise you that if you have any issues, you can come to me and I'll help the best way I can. I'll help you find someone for your issue. But I just want you to know that Wells is a loving place, and it's a special place, and you will hear from many more people that is a special place. And we're right on a lake, which is very beautiful, and you get amazing experiences at Wells, and you find true friends in a sense as well. And what I mean by that is, like, we don't have a large number of people, but when you find, someone on campus or a new friend, y'all will really build a relationship, and y'all will really get to know each other. And like that relationship stays with you because you guys see each other every day, and y'all can help each other as well. But I mean, I hope you guys listen and hear some good things and choose Wells, because Wells is a very great place. That's what I got, Mr. Gerard.
Thank you, Ty. Cody Primer.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Cody Primer, class of 2015. I was a Wells College men's soccer player for 4 years, happened to captain the team in my senior year. I got a degree in physics and a minor in environmental science, which helped propel me throughout, my career right now. I chose Wells for a specific reason, soccer being one of them. And second, I'm one of 5 children in my family, actually the baby of 5. Throughout my life, I was always just another primer going through high school. And at Wells College, I was really given the opportunity to make a name for myself. So with small class sizes, personal relationships with professors, and staff throughout the college, I was able to succeed and go on to be in my opinion, pretty successful. So Wells definitely prepped me for that, and you can't beat the gorgeous sunsets on Cayuga Lake.
Yes, sir. You are right about that.
Thank you, Cody. Dana Grover.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dana Grover. I am currently a last semester senior here at Wells, studying sustainability and economic management. Woo woo. So there are three main reasons that I chose Wells. Originally, Wells was at the bottom of my list. It was my last choice. And then my mom said, well, maybe you should go onto campus and spend a night and see how you like it. It was the most comfortable college campus that I had been on. And immediately when I stepped foot onto campus, I had taken a tour and I really enjoyed it when I did that. But spending an extended amount of time on campus really showed me that this is a place that I feel at home, which is so important. The other two reasons why I chose Wells is because they had a sustainability program, and that was something that I was eager to study, even though I didn't know exactly what it would entail, and I'm very happy that I did. And the last reason that I chose Wells is something that's going to be echoed from what you've already heard, but the interpersonal relationship building at this institution is remarkable. Whether you are building relationships with your peers, with your professors, with staff members, with the administration, or with alumni, the network that you are able to build yourself for support in the future it's incredible. And so, for no other reason, even if I didn't have those other two reasons, the people that I've met here at Wells have really supported the evolution that I've been able to go through as a person. So that's my piece.
Thank you, Dana.
Beautiful.
Provost and Dean of the College, Dr. Cindy Speaker.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Cindy Speaker. As Gerard said, I'm the Provost and Dean of the College, which means that I am the college's Chief Academic Officer. I've been in this role since 2011, but I came to the college in 2006 as the Associate Dean of the College. Was in that role for 4 years and spent a year as the Associate Provost for Academic and Student Life. I came to Wells as an administrator because I wanted to be at a very small institution that really is able to transform the lives of its students. I had that experience myself as an undergraduate, and I know how my life and how myself became the person that I am today because of that transformative experience. And I wanted to make sure to work with students to have that type of experience, to work with faculty to ensure that students have that experience, and to really get to know people on campus and encourage students to be all that they can be. We really do believe in our college's mission to educate our students to think critically, reason wisely, and act humanely as they cultivate meaningful lives. And the focus here is about helping our students determine what it is for them to have a meaningful life and not just make a living, but really to make a life.
Thank you, Cindy. No longer interim, Dr. Charles Kenyon is, dare I say it, our forever Dean of Students. Charles?
Thank you, Gerard, and forever would be wonderful. I came to Wells because I realized this is a campus where I could make a difference. And it's a place where I realize our value is how much we can help you make a difference. You can make a difference at Wells in your own life, understanding what your interests are and how you can fulfill those through our academic programs and our extracurricular life. You can make a difference in our campus community by getting involved in clubs and organizations and student government. And you can make a difference in your home community by being involved in internships and experiential learning and getting out in the real world to test what you've learned. We are a place that helps you learn how to make a difference. And I look forward to working with all of you when you come to Wells so that we can get you in making a difference in our campus community. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Dr. Dan Rosenberg, Assistant Professor of English.
Hey, I am Dan Rosenberg. Call me Dan. All of my students do. And the answers have been remarkably consistent here, but I can't let it go that one of the reasons why I came to Wells is just came to fruition a half hour ago when an alumna texted me and said, "I'm so sorry I can't make it to this virtual open house. I wanted to say hi." And this is not an event for her. This is an event for you, but she wanted to come back and say hi anyway, which I thought was delightful. And as a faculty member, when we're looking for places to work, there are some institutions that will prioritize your scholarship and say, okay, in my case, you are a poet and you teach and study poetry. That's going to be your primary focus. And also you'll have to teach some classes. You'll teach some classes to justify all the work on poetry that you're doing. Wells is not that, and I didn't want that. I wanted someplace that prioritized teaching, and that is the primary criterion on which the faculty are evaluated, and it is the primary focus of what we do here, that we conceive of ourselves as educators. And when Gerard and Cindy talked about the sort of transformative experience that we want our students to have, I think about how, we're a tiny program. Most of my English majors who I'm sending off into the world, who graduate, will have taken many classes with me. And when they apply to graduate schools, as this alumna did, she is currently finishing up her Master's of Fine Arts in Creative Writing. She asked me for a rec letter, and I could talk about how over the 5 different courses that she took with me, I was able to see this growth from a sort of tentative first year who was just figuring out if this was right for her, to a really competent, prepared, dynamic senior who was able to take charge of the room and really be an impressive figure and an asset to any community that she enters going forward. And so being able to nurture someone through that process and to celebrate it with them has been one of the joys of my time here at Wells.
Thank you. Andre Lynch is our Associate Dean of Equity and Inclusion.
Hello. Good morning, folks. My name is Andre Lynch, pronouns he, him, his. I'm the Associate Dean for Equity and Inclusion. And what that means is that I serve as the main support for our historically underrepresented folks in places of academia. So anyone from women to differently abled folks to Black and brown folks, and just the gambit of marginalization. And why Wells for me, and I hate to just add to the echo chamber here, but seriously, right? When I came here to interview, right? And I was taking my campus tour with Dr. Kenyon. He can attest, right, that we were probably stopped, I want to say a good 5 or 6 different times during my tour by students. We were stopped by current students, and they noticed me as an unfamiliar face. So they stopped to just say, "Hi, who are you? What are you doing here?" I told them I'm interviewing for a role. "Oh, best of luck. Like, we can't wait to see you on campus." And I was just blown away. I was absolutely blown away by that just sense of community that I felt the first day that I stepped foot on this campus, like everyone else is attesting to. It doesn't stop. So it's what made me want to be here in the first place, and it continues to be the reason that I come to the office, log into the Zoom every single day. It's the interactions that you have with not only your colleagues, but the entire community of Wells is just so welcoming. It feels like family. It really does.
Thank you, Andre. And Mike Lindberg, Director of Athletics.
Thanks, Gerard. And first, when Dana said she's graduating this year, I can't believe it's been 4 years, Dana, since you were. I mean, we were in your freshman year fall Wells 100 class together. So I can't believe the time has gone by that quickly. So congratulations. I'm Mike Lindberg. I'm the Director of Athletics and Physical Education, oversee 15 Division III, NCAA Division III varsity sports, approximately 40 plus physical education courses that we offer throughout the year, and also coordinate the sports management minor, teaching a couple of classes in that curriculum as well. I would say what for me, what distinct, and I'm going to talk about something that may be a little bit different, but it's about what makes Wells College unique for me. And I come from a couple of different places where, as a student athlete, you had to make choices. It was about, you're going to do this or you're going to do that. And when I came to Wells, it was very different. It was more about a banquet of opportunity where you can have this and you can have that and you can do this. And I'll give you an example. We have a number of students who participate in more than one sport, and they also may participate in a play or be part of a club or on a leadership team as an RA or a peer leader or a TA, and an RA. They have also have the opportunity and have taken the advantage of the opportunity of studying abroad. So it's not a question of, I guess to me, it really is like a banquet of all these great things that you could do, and you can do them. If you're curious enough, okay, if you want to challenge yourself enough, there's certainly, I think, as you've seen here with this panel, plenty of support for you to engage in those activities and to be successful. So I hope you take advantage of it. And I look forward to seeing many of you, hopefully when we're able to get back, when you're able to be on campus to see us. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike. So that's our panel. And I just want to talk very briefly about what we'll do from here. We've got a period of time that we'll engage in a conversation and answer your questions about Wells. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat and direct it to all panelists and attendees. If you choose it that way, everybody will see it. And that's important because within the attendees are a group of Wells admissions counselors and other members of our campus community who are here to engage with us as well. So with that, I'm going to start by asking President Gibraltar a question. And John, I think no matter who you are or where you are, most people would agree that 2020 has been a challenging year in many ways. And at Wells College, we talk about bright futures. And we talk about bright futures for our students, the futures that they create for themselves, but also the bright future that they bring to the world as they engage and eventually graduate and move on. There are a lot of good things happening at Wells College, and I wonder if you would like to talk about a few of those.
Thank you, Gerard. Excuse me. Good morning again, everybody. And, this has been an extraordinary year for everybody, not just at Wells. One of the things that I have always found to be so extraordinary at Wells, and I think our students and our alum would probably agree, it's the power of connections. And, I think as you heard everybody speak today, they in some way mention that, whether it's touring the campus on an interview and being approached by 5 or 6 students asking why you're there, or, Dana Grover, who I've known for her whole time at Wells, and the many times she sat in my conference room talking about things that were issues or concerns, and us being able to have a heart-to-heart conversation about what that means to her, what that means to other students, and how we can work together. And I think that's the key of what I want to say, working together. What I hope that everybody who is employed at Wells, and what every student gains while they are at Wells, is an understanding that there's power in connections. it's about relationships. Our world is about relationships, and it always should be, and it always will be. And so we get lost sometimes, especially during COVID, in a technology enhanced world where sometimes the importance of those relationships get a little bit cloudy. But let me tell you a story. All right. For this entire semester, we have been providing COVID testing on campus for our entire community every 2 weeks. And the other day, last week, 2 weeks ago, I was over getting tested. And I ran into Professor Rosenberg, who, yes, everybody calls him Dan. And, you know, it was so incredibly meaningful to me because it was the first time I'd seen him in person in months. And there was a little part of me that was like, I got to get back to work. But you know what? I savored the moment. And we had a conversation and we talked about an article that he had read that kind of defined the nature of communication that had been going on in our nation. I won't mention the title of the article, written by a professor at Princeton, I might add. And I said, I'd really love to read the article. And he sent it to me and I read it and I shared it with one of our trustees who is somebody who I knew that I could have a conversation with about this topic and about this article, and that this trustee who's an alum would be able to say, wow, thank you. This meant a lot to me. That's what I mean by connection. That's what I mean by the engagement that we have with each other. You know, we're all taking in a lot of input right now, but one of the things that I'm so grateful for is that at a time when we were worried about COVID, at a time where we were worried that some of the traditions of what Wells is all about, like our first day of class convocation, our honor code signing ceremony, odd even, we figured out a way to do these things virtually and engage with people so that we didn't just accept that we could, that we just had to sit in our rooms and you know, just continue to talk about wear your mask, social distance, all of those things, wash your hands, use hand sanitizer. No, we figured out ways to creatively stay engaged with one another. And for that, I'm enormously grateful and think Wells is a very special place. I'm not sure that I answered your question, but that's where I went. And you're all just going to have to deal with that.
What I just heard there is that you can't have a casual conversation with me without getting homework. That's what I heard.
You know what? So that's the second time that's happened. And every time you give me homework, it has an impact on my life and who I am as a person. So that is something I will always be grateful about.
I just heard that homework never ends with you forever. Cody, you know, again, thinking about bright futures, can you tell us a little bit about what you are doing now and how your Wells College experience prepared you for that?
Absolutely, yeah. Currently, I'm living in Connecticut. I'm a solar PV design engineer for a small company here. Wells definitely prepared me for this career. As a physics major, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with that major. I knew I loved the environment. I knew, you know, everything from being outdoors, hiking in the Adirondack High Peaks. I just didn't know exactly how I was going to make a big difference. That is until my internship, my senior year with the Cayuga Lake Watershed Network, and that kind of put into a broader perspective of what I can do, how I can make a difference with that. And that pushed me actually to pursue my thesis, which was actually creating a sports facility that was run 100% on renewable energy with both hydroelectric, solar panels, and wind turbines. So that kind of jump-started me. I ended up, after graduating from Wells, I ended up pursuing a master's degree in sustainable energy systems from SUNY Cortland, which is still right in the Finger Lakes area. I couldn't quite get away. And then that led me to an internship down in Washington, DC, with their, ironically, their gas provider, but I was working in the sustainability department there. Once that internship kind of ran out, I headed back to my hometown, and then was able to find a position as a design engineer in Connecticut. So really, it all stemmed from my thesis, and just kind of being pushed by Scott Heinekamp, my physics professor, and I would consider good friend at this point. He probably, I'm sure everybody here knows who Scott Heinekamp is and has a funny story. But it was really that thesis that pushed me to, expand my vision on renewable energy. And I think if I looked back at my thesis now, I'd be pretty disappointed with myself and the work that I did. Not for how good it was, but just because I know right now I could do a lot better with every single program I'm using. So all in all, yeah, Wells definitely prepped me for the next step that I was going to take.
Thank you, Cody. I have to say this, with so much solar technology in your work, Wells College literally led you to a bright future.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you, Dan, for appreciating that. I'm going to take a question from the audience. We have a question about what the inclusion is like for Black and Brown students, and also for LGBTQ+ students. And I think anyone could take this, but we'll start with Andre.
Yeah, I saw that question, and I was like, awesome. I love where folks' minds are. Speaking about inclusion, right down my alley. So on campus, we're like everyone has said, we're a very welcoming community. And on campus, we have a bunch of clubs and organizations, and we do have a few affinity groups that are directly related to these student demographics. So we have an Umoja, which serves as our Black Student Union. We also have a multicultural dance club, which takes a lot of Afro-Caribbean inspired dance and cultural celebrations and intertwines it into different events. And we also have a step team on campus, which is really cool when they perform. We haven't had any performances due to COVID, but folks are involved with the step team as well. We also have a campus pride affinity group, which serves our LGBTQ+ population. And last year, before COVID hit again, right, we were really able to do a lot of educational programming for the community based on happenings in all of the communities. And also, last spring, we opened up a cultural center on campus. It's called the Hallway for Cultural Humility. And in the cultural center, we have a conference room, a lounge space, and then we also have a maker space where folks go in to create signs of protest or just to draw stick figures if they'd like, right? So it serves as like the hub for folks on campus wanting to have conversations around race, racism, ethnicity, and other cultures. And we also run programming, a lot of programming sponsored by the Hallway for Cultural Humility, which adds to the inclusivity of all of these student demographics. One that I'd like to just like throw at you really, really quick, because I'm super proud of it and happy that it's happening. We've been reading Dr. Beverly Daniel Tatum's book, Why Are All the Black Kids Sitting Together in the Cafeteria Table, and Other Conversations About Race. So this book here served as our first year read. And we have a contest going on at the moment. So at the end of the first year read, students who submit a 500 word or less reflection on the book moving off of two very simple prompts. How are you going to use this book moving forward in your life, or what have you learned about yourself and your peers throughout this read? So once you answer those, one of those two reflections, you automatically get put into a drawing for an iPad mini, a pair of Beats by Dre, or a $50 Amazon gift card. And that's not even the big deal about it. The big deal about it is that the top 3 reflections get to interview Dr. Tatum on her virtual visit to Wells College on December 2nd. So speaking about inclusion, right? It's at the core of what we do here. We try to weave it into every tenant, every course, every outside of class experience. So I hope that's reflected in this discussion this morning as well, because every person that I see in this room is dedicated to inclusion, equity, and diversity, particularly here at Wells. So thank you for asking that question. I love where your mind was.
I'm just going to pause here and see if any students, alumni, Professor Rosenberg want to talk about other dimensions or aspects of that, because it does weave throughout our various roles in the community.
I just want to say I love the energy that Mr. Andre brings about that stuff. And, you know, as he speaks, he really does go out his way to help make sure everybody is included. And as he says, here at Wells campus, there's a lot of, different nationalities. But as I said, we see color, we do. But here at Wells, for my past 3 years, I haven't experienced any racial problems myself, or seeing any. And, most of the tables, there's if you go by color, there's different, it's very versatile. Not a lot of people judge. I mean, color, there's just a lot of love at the school. And as Mr. Andre says, and we all say, it's a lot of love. And there's not a lot of judgment, as I see about colors and race. And Mr. Andre, that man right there, if you ever need help getting included somewhere, he is there for you, and he will fight till the death. That man is dedicated to his job. And, we really appreciate that at Wells, because that's what we want. And if you ever have a problem with that kind of issues or anything, he is the man to go to, and he will fight for you. And I mean that, for my word, I mean that. That's what I have to share.
Yeah, I might just jump in to add that over this past summer, sort of independently, but focused on the very issues that Andre brought up, and I see you nodding, Andre, the faculty came together, a large group of us, and created the Wells Anti-Racist Pedagogy Collective, which is a group of professors trying to think about how our teaching practices can be informed by not just not being racist, but an actively anti-racist position, right? How can we bring those ideas into our own practice as educators? And we spent a summer together talking about this, both in sort of abstract theoretical terms, really trying to wrap our heads around what this might mean big picture, and then just bare bones pragmatic, what do we do? How do we change our classes? How do we change how we interact, how we interact with students, how we build our syllabi to reflect those values even more strongly and directly. And this is a field that is growing and developing, and people are learning more about how to pursue equity and inclusion in ways that are beneficial to everyone, to the entire community, right? And we're all invested in learning about it together and actively trying. And one of the things that makes Wells, I think, special is that we are agile in that way. We can pivot quickly. If 20 faculty get together and decide we want to do this, that's the majority of the faculty. We're in. We have now decided to do it as a faculty, and we can go forward. And it's really, it's been a tremendously gratifying thing for me to see that development happen among my peers as well.
And if I could just add that in terms of, I know there's been a number of questions in the chat about how has the college dealt with COVID, and in terms of classes, but just in other ways as well. I really think it's speaks to the nature of our community, of that when we had to pivot last spring to being fully online, we had developed relationships with their students in their classes, and could move to a different media in terms of continuing the class discussions and interactions. I would say that we've also taken advantage of the nature of having technology to engage at a distance, to actually have more conversations in different types of groups than we would have in the past. So you could have more people participate in the faculty anti-racist pedagogy group than may have participated had it been, held on campus on a sort of a weekly basis in the art exhibit room or something like that. So I think while we definitely prefer to have in-person classes and really be close to one another and engage with one another, we're able to continue to develop those relationships in this sort of technologically mediated world that we're living in for the time being.
Cindy, thank you for kind of opening the door on the conversation of pivoting within the COVID pandemic. And Dean Kenyon, you have led an extraordinary effort on the part of our campus community to do just that. I'm wondering if you can talk a bit about the outcomes we've seen there, some of the lessons we've learned. And for me, there's this other interesting thing, which is that we've approached this in a way that is uniquely WELS. And I think about, for example, how one particular pillar or foundational element for us was the honor code, and that cultural sense of accountability that supported our ability to be successful in that effort.
Yes, Gerard, it's really been reflective of what we care about at WELS. We care about our community, we care about each other. Our planning process involves students, faculty, staff, and alumni who are meeting regularly to develop a plan for reopening the college once we were able to start the fall semester. We spent hours looking through all the different ways we can serve students, both in person and through hybrid courses and programs. And we came together and opened our campus in late August, and all of our community came back to school. We stayed COVID-free for the first 9 or 10 weeks of the semester, and really set us apart from all the schools around us that had to go into remote because they had too much exposure of COVID on their campus. We were able to stay open, keep our classes in person, keep our activities going up until early November. And so it's really been a testament to the caring and support students had for each other and for keeping our community safe. It's that kind of spirit that I know will bring us back together for the spring semester, and it will drive us forward to get through this really very challenging time with lessons that we'll learn individually and as an institution. Our ability to be flexible, nimble, and adapt individually and collectively is part of our future going forward. And the more we can learn that going through hard times together, the more we'll be prepared for what lies ahead, no matter what that might be. So I think it's been a great, unfortunate, but a learning experience for all of us that we want to be over with and move on, but we want to learn the lessons from and make ourselves stronger by working together.
Thank you, Dean Kenyon. There are two questions in the chat that are separate questions, but to me, they also speak to aspects of diversity, equity, and inclusion. One is about students who are living with mental illness and our ability to support those students and how students go about accessing those services. And the other is our students with learning differences. And so the concept of neurodiversity and how we work with students who may come to the mix with an individualized educational plan. So two topics that we might talk across, and maybe we can start with Provost Speaker.
Sure. So in terms of students with IEPs or needing accommodations for diverse ways of learning, we ask students to work individually with Emily Madison, who is our Assistant Director for Student Success and Coordinator of Disability Services. She works with students to really understand what their needs are and to be able to find the accommodations that are appropriate for them so to maximize their success. And while she works with students who've had IEPs and 504s, she works with all students. And I would really say that in terms of our campus approach to understanding differences and embracing differences, everybody learns differently and is differently abled. And you may need some additional resources in one area, but able to actually provide resources to others in some areas. We use peer tutors. We're able, because our classes are small, our faculty get to know their students, that they're really able to work individually with students. That it's not sort of a mass approach and treating everybody in the same way. Because of our honor code, our faculty know that students from the start are going to uphold that honor code, which allows them to be more flexible in how they take exams, for example. If you get stressed while you're in a classroom with others around you taking an exam, because of our honor codes, faculty often say to students, here's the exam, you have an hour to take it anywhere on campus you want. It might be on one of the sofas in McMillan lobby, or it might be down at the dock if it's a nice day. And that's really, again, working individually with students so that they're able to do their best to achieve the highest level of success for them. And I think that's important. And the acceptance and the embrace of diversity and differences extends obviously to those who are dealing with some mental illness and mental health challenges. We really want our students, as part of their WELS education, to learn more about themselves and what they need to do in order to be the healthiest individuals mentally and physically that they can be. That's important to us. It's actually part of our general education curriculum in terms of mind-body wellness, because preparing for life is really being able to know how you react to things, what helps you take the best care of yourself. And so we work really directly with students. I would say the WELS campus community is a community that does not stigmatize illnesses, be they of any kind, but rather as a community that is all about trying to help people find the resources they need in order to be successful. And often those resources start with a relationship with a person who can help you find the resources in the community you need and who's always there for you, be it text, email, phone, or a drop-in.
Those resources include counselors and therapists available to students through our community medical center. And we're working on partnerships with the MindWell Center in Ithaca to have workshops held on mental health topics throughout the semester while students are here, both for students, but also for faculty and staff, so that we're keeping ourselves up to date with best practice for helping people. We've got a program on managing stress during, managing your mental health during stressful, difficult times. That's really what we're all going through right now, and it's something that I need as well as our students need. And so to bring these resources together, both virtually, online and in person, for both clinical therapy, but also education and awareness, so our community is informed about how to help and support each other. And you might have noticed our friend Ty in the video below. He's, you see an animal pop into the screen every now and then. He's got his pets with him. We do have a lot of emotional support animals living in the residence halls with students. And so we recognize that that can be a real support for somebody to have a pet to bring to campus. And we do allow that. And we've got quite a few that are living here on campus.
I also
Ty's in
wanted
Florida now, so.
I also just wanted to quickly add to that, Charles, that as a part of our mental health initiatives, we are also right now working to develop deeper relationships with Black and Brown mental health therapists and also social workers and other types of counselors. So we're looking to match our student populations with folks who look like them in order for them to be more comfortable and for folks to be more culturally competent in dealing with what their specific issues may be. So those initiatives are underway as well.
Mike?
I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. One of the things we've learned is, and we probably already know, but it became much more apparent how important being, physical activity is, and maintaining and your mental health, just feeling good about yourself and getting out of your rooms or just exercising somewhere. Obviously, we're located on a beautiful area in the Finger Lakes. It's we've had the boathouse that's been open, so you go out and kayak, canoe. There's hiking that exists all over the place. We've been able to engage our student athletes in practices with the grounding. We're going to be safe, we're going to be healthy, and we've been very successful with that. We haven't been able to play any games this year, which is unfortunate, but nobody's been able to play any games this year. So we've also have encouraged students to really, if they haven't considered it, take another physical education course, whether it's in meditation, yoga. One of the ones that I think is my favorite is Tabata. Okay. And we have horseback riding, we have scuba diving. There's all sorts of different ways of challenging yourself in a physical way, which actually helps you mentally and spiritually as well. So I think that's one of the things we've learned about what we need to do, and it's been a point of emphasis for us this year to make sure that our fitness center was able to get open. Okay, at first we were open, we moved everything outside. Okay, so that we could do that. We just thought that was important. And then when we were able to move things inside, got everything approved by the local Board of Health, it worked out great. Getting the gym open so that students could, like Ty, could just get in there and shoot, okay? Because he needs a lot of shots. He needs to get better, okay?
Facts.
All right. But from our perspective, the physical component of that was a real big part of making sure that all of our students, not just our athletes, but all of our students had an opportunity to maintain their health.
Thanks, Mike. We have a lot of questions in the chat related to residence life on campus. We have, again, almost 400 students on our campus. A little over 70% of our students are from New York State. But all over New York State, and we have, I think it's over 35 states represented in our student body and several nations. And all these students come together and they share a campus community and a residential experience. And I wonder if we can talk a little bit about things like, how do you pick a roommate? What happens if that doesn't work out so well? Just what it's like to live in the residence halls.
Well, I'm sure that Dana and Ty can talk more about what it's like to live in the residence halls, but let me just start by saying one of our residence halls is the first building at Wells College from the 1850s, 1860s. Henry Wells' house that he built is a student residence hall, Glen Park, and it's one of the premier facilities that students love to choose when they choose their room housing locations. We also have Main Hall, which is a large residence hall tied in with the campus dining hall and the art gallery and the hallway for cultural humility, all into this wonderful building, historic architecture. It's just impressive to walk through and reflect on the history of all the people who have come through the halls and the rooms of Wells College. We have Weld Hall, Leach and Dodge Hall and Fairlane Apartments. These are all options for students. Some of them are suite style lodge housing. Some of them are corridor style, but they're all places where our students gather and live and learn together. And maybe I'll let Dana and Ty talk a little bit about what that's been like for them. And Ty has been a resident advisor as well. So Dana, why don't you go first?
Okay, so I have lived, in my time on campus, I've lived in every residence hall except for Weld. So I can talk at length about the difference between them. You can talk about Weld. Each building has kind of a different communal vibe once you get there. If you're in Maine, for instance, you may be in a more social atmosphere where people really like to spend time in each other's rooms, really like to spend time in the lounges together, like to hold gatherings, fun gatherings. This is what I'll call them.
Parties.
Parties, fun gatherings. If you, like I did this year, choose to live in Glen Park, the reasons that you may choose, the reasons that I chose is because the bathrooms have been renovated. The bathrooms have been renovated in, I think, all of the residence halls on campus except for Maine, but Maine has had some other renovations done to some of the rooms. Glen Park also is in all feminine identifying dorm building, which I enjoy because it tends to be a little bit less rowdy. The other thing that I'll say, just moving on from the differences between the residence halls, one similarity in the residence halls, most of them, is that all of the rooms are vastly different. In Weld, Glen Park, and Maine, they're all vastly different. You'll have more consistency in Dodge and Leach, which is where you would be living if you were a first year. And then after you were a first year, you can decide to move. Your first year is when your roommates are assigned for you. And if that doesn't end up working out and there are vacancies on campus, then you may have the option to either kick your roommate out or move out, depending on how you decide to negotiate that. And then after your first year, once you have hopefully established a nice social group that you are comfortable and confident with, then you would be able to, when you go through the room draw lottery at the end of the spring semester, choose your roommate. Or anybody has the option to either get a medically accommodated or not medically accommodated single room. So that is also an option for people. And I think the best thing, in my opinion, about living on campus at Wells is that because the campus is so small, if you live in Dodge at one end of campus and have class all the way in McMillan at the other end of campus, you could probably wake up 10 minutes before class and get there a couple minutes early. You could probably do it if you needed to, which is fantastic. I know you're saying no, but every student is thinking that that's what they want to do. Okay, so we gotta say it.
Dana, get up, review your notes, be prepared to ask questions, have a couple
See,
of
I
coffee,
review my notes
have
before I
breakfast.
go to sleep because there has research been done that sleeping with
But
your
that's
notes.
the order that you want. Okay.
All right.
That's very true.
Another question about living on campus, and Ty, maybe you can answer this as you're launching into what you were ready to say, is can you have cars on campus?
I believe that's been answered, but I believe so. But yeah, first years are allowed to have car on campuses, but they have to park on what's it called? The parking space, the parking area for freshmen.
Woods lot.
Woods lot, which is like upper from Leach lot. And as Dana said, I believe it's a $40 permit you have to fill out. But going back to residence life, this is like as freshmen, this is your first time being away from your parents, majority of the time, or parental guidance or anything. So some hints I would say, or some what's it called, wisdom I would give y'all is the first semester, don't load up on some heavy courses. All right, do not do that to yourself, because I'm on, as a basketball on the basketball team. I had some freshmen come in past 2 years, take some heavy courses, and it's just like they're like, I don't know what to do. And luckily, they're able to drop out. I'm not saying drop your classes, but don't do that to yourself. When you come in here, pick some, get in the groove, because you're about to go on your own, and you're gonna have to learn how to manage your time way better. Because your mom's not going to be there, your dad, grandma, uncle, whoever you stay with is not going to be able to tell you to do your homework, tell you to stay on top of the important things. You can still have fun, you can still do things you want, but the first semester I would recommend that y'all take some light courses. Wells 100, there's some other ones, to get you in the groove to understand. Weld, I'll speak about Weld. Weld is a very calm atmosphere. Okay. As Dana said, Maine, I've lived in Maine, I lived in Dodge, and I live in Weld now. Maine is for the parties, it's, as Dean said, it's for the parties. It's rowdy over there. And that was an environment I do not want to be in there. I don't want to be around. Dodge is pretty calm as well. And Weld, that's my spot. It's calm, it's quiet, really knows nothing's going on. But you got to stay true to yourself, especially when you come in as a freshman. Of course, try new things, but be true to yourself. And like I said, just be true to yourself, love yourself, take care of yourself, and just enjoy the time. Make it easy for yourself when you're first coming into new things, though. I'll tell you that.
I might want to jump in on piggyback on a couple of things Ty said here. Number one, I park at Woods Lot. It is super close. Complaining? No, stop complaining about Woods Lot.
Well, for me, I park in Leach, like right in the first parking spot right by Weld. It's pretty
right. Yeah. You want to be able to crawl to where you got to go. No, I have to actually walk there. It's fine. It's fine. But also to get to your point about like the first semester experience, like a thing that is important to note is that you all get an academic advisor right away, and you should take advantage of them. I'm the advisor for many English majors and people who think they might be English majors, and I talk with each of them individually to develop their schedules, to make sure that they're on the right path, to make sure they're not taking 5 English classes in their first semester, because that's crazy and they will lose their minds, and they should not do that. But that's not to say that there's a light schedule that you should be taking. But it is important to know that, yes, you are here, you're away from your traditional support network, whatever that might be, but there is a new one here ready for you and designed to help you. And I think that is, that's one of the pleasures for me. And it takes me a little bit now. I'm so used to this environment that sometimes I have to stop and be like, oh, right, you're a first year. You don't know what a syllabus is. There are no syllabi in high school. Like I have to walk you through this one step at a time. But the students who have been struggling, in my experience, at first, early on, are the ones who don't ask the question, right? Who sit there quietly and go, I don't know what that means, and I'm just not going to ask anybody, and I'm shy and I'm concerned. And the ones who just like hit the ground running and start excelling from the first moment are the ones who are willing to say, actually, I'm not familiar with that. Could you just like run it by me one more time? And they immediately achieve success, because all of us want our students to succeed in that way.
I agree with that.
I would say that there's a mindfulness on campus that, especially for first-year students, that as you transition into the college, you're transitioning from being a very good high school student to needing to figure out how to be a college student, right? It doesn't happen overnight. You have to learn what it means to be a college student, because everything's different, right? In high school, your day is pretty much scripted from 7:30 to 2:30. They tell you, what your schedule is, when to go to classes. Your after school activities may be totally scripted as well. In college, you spend most of the time that you're spending learning is actually outside the classroom. And so it's self-directed, and you need to be able to learn how to do that. And so we have courses in that first year. There was mention of Wells 100, which is basically an introduction to college course to help you learn how to do that, to learn what's part of the collegiate experience. And just as you have to learn how to be a college student, if you're an athlete, you have to learn how to be a college athlete, because that's totally different too than playing athletics in high school. But as Dan said, there are resources here for you on campus. Your academic advisor, all the folks in student life, all the folks in academic affairs who are in support areas, and really anybody on campus. President Gibraltar always tells students that they can always stop in and talk to him. He has an open door policy. The same is true in our offices. People on campus in all roles want to see our students succeed.
If I could just kind of piggyback on what Cindy was saying too, and what Dan was saying, is that collectively there's an awful lot of support. We think once you've been admitted, accepted to Wells, we think you're going to be able to succeed. We know you can succeed, and but everybody needs some help along the way at some point. One of the hardest things for, I think, anybody to do, any student or beyond to do, is to simply ask for help. And we recognize that. Our coaches are all full-time staff members here, and they're taught, one of the things that they do is they teach. Okay, it's not about just X's and O's. It's about other things that's going to help you after your playing days are over. We want to see you succeed in the classroom. We want to see you succeed personally, and obviously we want to see you succeed athletically. But it's a lot more to it with that when it comes to our coaches and other staff. We just don't have an 18, 19-week season. We have a year-round season with our students where we're meeting with them individually or collectively just to see how are things going. How are you doing in the class? How are you doing? How are things going personally? Do you have any questions? I think, I know Cody and Ty can both attest to their experience as student athletes and what kind of relationship they've had with their coaches and how they've helped beyond just playing soccer or basketball. Okay. Look at Cody, all right there. I mean, I remember him when I first got here. Great left back for the soccer team, and look at him now, all right, working with solar panels. So,
thanks, Mike.
You bet,
Appreciate
Cody.
that. I did want to touch base on that just quickly, and this is kind of speaking from both a student athlete, and after graduation, I spent a season assistant coaching the women's soccer team as well. And I can just, the amount of support that the coaches give student athletes is above and beyond. The head coach at the time was ironically my sister, and she was always saying how players were reaching out, how she was reaching out to players, even on breaks, making sure that they were comfortable in their situation at home, making sure that they were comfortable in all their classes, with their relationships with their professors. So it really didn't stop at training. Once training was over, it didn't stop there. It was constant engagement with players. And that's kind of the entire theme at Wells College. It's constant engagement with students, whether you're an athlete or a student, whether you're whether you're a science major or doing something in the book arts, you're always engaged with your professors, your coaches, and it really becomes a family at that point. So I will say, as a student athlete, I was always communicating with my coach. He was always asking me how my family was doing. He was the one that gave me the tour when I came and visited Wells, and was with my oldest sister. Always asks about her, and we still have a great relationship to this day. So there's those relationships that continue on past graduation day.
Hey, I got something to say, but Cody, that's your sister? That was your sister?
Yes, yeah, that's my sister.
Wow, she's in Georgia now, right?
Yes.
Oh, wow. But back on the same topic, like you said, the support crew that you get from Wells College is amazing. And we're all speaking truth. I just want you to know that we're not lying. And as Mr. Lindberg said, like the relationships that players get with coaches and the relationship teammates have, it's amazing. And the campus in general. But I have an example, like before I get to them, there's no way you should fail unless it's your own fault. And you have to take responsibility for that, because everybody on this campus will be checking on you because it's a small campus. So, you say you pop up to class one day, show up the next 3 days, or, the next 3 classes, they're going to message you. They're going to check on you. They're going to like show you love and then be like, hey, you missed this. Are you okay? And I have an example of that. I had a close friend that actually went to Wells with me. Is no longer there for personal reasons, but he was missing classes at the woo-za. Oh my gosh, like just missing them, like staying in his dorm room, and like the professors would email him and he wouldn't reply. And then, we'd have some same classes. So they knew that we were close. So they would like talk to me about him and made sure that he would get the work, or be like, hey, can you make sure he does the work? I don't want him to fail. And it's just like, they went out their way. And it was a very beautiful thing, because I never seen that before. And sadly, it was his own responsibility to do the work. But the fact that they actually were trying to help him during his situation was like tremendous. They care for you. They just want the best for you, and it's just truly amazing. Like that's what I said, just the support crew and everybody at Wells it's amazing on the staff part.
I think one of the messages that I'm hearing that I just want to reinforce goes back to what I said earlier, that this is all about relationships. And I can assure you that we will all do our part. We care, we're concerned, we will reach out to you, we will support you. What Provost Speaker said is very true. My door is always open, and I welcome people walking through it, whether you're a student, faculty, or staff member. We are all there for you. But it's a two-way street. You got to do your part, right? You can't just sit back and expect that anybody's going to do it for you. If we try to reach out to you and you don't respond, that's on you. If you don't do your work and your faculty reach out to you, that's on you. We can't take responsibility for you, but we want to work with you to help you take responsibility for yourself. But Dean Kenyon always says, ask for help. Right, Dean Kenyon? What are the 3 things you always say to students?
It's really quite simple. If you want to succeed in college, go to class, do the work, but the hardest thing is ask for help. But if you ask for help, help is here, and we will be here to support you. What we see at Wells is if you commit to us, we're committed to you. And we will help you get through this place with a degree and a bright future, just like Cody.
Amazing. That's amazing right there.
I want to make sure we answer all questions. And I think the one question that we haven't touched on yet is study abroad. What are the options at Wells? And we certainly look toward a future where we can begin study abroad again. And why is it important? Why is it a good thing to do?
So I can start with that. So in terms of options for study abroad, we really do encourage our students to study abroad. We have roughly 19 programs that they can choose from. We have a program in Florence, Italy that is a Wells in Florence program in collaboration with the Lorenzo da Vinci Institute, which is open to Wells students as well as other students from other institutions. But we really do have programs all around the world, depending on where in the world students want to go and what they're interested in studying. And we're constantly evaluating new programs to add them based on student interest. We encourage students to study abroad when it makes sense for them in their program. A lot of institutions say you can only study abroad in your junior year. But for some students, depending on your major, the junior year is not the best time for you to be away from your program. So it may make more sense for you to go in your sophomore year or even the fall of your senior year. So we work, again, individually with students. We are very mindful of, obviously, about health and safety of students. So we are only able to send students abroad when it's safe for them to go abroad. And so right now the State Department has most of the world either level 3 or level 4 because of COVID. And so we're not able to send students abroad this year, which is unfortunate. We're hopeful that next year, travel advisories will be back to normal, which would be levels 1 or 2, so we can send students abroad. Students apply in March of the year before they want to go abroad. We have some requirements for students that they have to have a minimum GPA, be in good standing socially, have all their financial affairs in order. They work with their faculty in terms of the application process. Faculty write letters of support for them. And for one of the great benefits of the Wells Study Abroad program is that they're able to take their institutional aid with them. So it can be just as though they're spending the semester on campus, so there's additional costs to the students. A wonderful opportunity to study abroad, to really immerse yourself in another culture. And to learn how other people see the world and live their everyday lives, and just have that ability to engage with others. We work to prepare students for that experience. So we require students take a course before they study abroad to be prepared. We don't want them not to be reflective or thoughtful about the experience. We want them to be prepared. When they come back, we have a course that they take that helps them reflect and reintegrate into the Wells community and share that experience that they've had with others. So great opportunity. I would say roughly 30% of our graduating students study abroad at some point during their time at Wells. In addition to semester length courses, students can actually study abroad during the intersession with faculty run trips. Unfortunately, this year, Susie Easter, a professor of theater, was supposed to take a group to London, which is a trip that happens every other year. But again, I'm not able to do that this year, but opportunity exists. You can also do an internship experience when you study abroad. Our program that we work with in Costa Rica actually has that as part of it. Then you do an internship either with an NGO or a nonprofit, which is great for many of our business students and students interested in international studies.
I might just add, if I may, that the study abroad is not a pause on your progress toward degree either, that it's very much integrated into your overall educational experience. And so in a couple of ways, right? One is that to get a degree from Wells, you need to have taken advantage of 2 experiential learning opportunities. And many students do that through internships that happen on or off campus, but studying abroad counts as an experiential learning opportunity that you've taken advantage of. So that meets one of the 2 requirements on that front. And then if you're studying abroad during the semester, you work with your faculty, with your advisors here to make sure that you are taking classes that help move you toward degree. In my program, one of the most popular study abroad locations is Bath in England. And students will go there for a semester and they will study Shakespeare while in England and go see plays performed at the Globe. And that counts for our Shakespeare requirement back home. So the students make their progress toward degree while having this incredible experience elsewhere. And as someone who didn't take advantage of study abroad as an undergrad, one of my lifelong regrets, and I always encourage my students to go do that because it is just such an unbelievable opportunity and it's reasonably seamless here. So it's a beautiful thing to do when the world isn't in a pandemic.
Another question that I think we may have left unanswered is about work study or jobs on campus. And what I'll say about that is there are jobs across campus that students engage in. Students are employed as tour guides, they're employed as resident assistants, they're employed in the library, they're employed in a number of different locations across campus. And there's a connection there for me too with study abroad. So like study abroad, Dan said that's not just a pause. A job on campus is not just a job on campus. It's an opportunity for your professional development and for you to put into action your Wells College education. And so we know that students, through their co-curricular involvement, through their employment on campus, through things like study abroad, take the Wells College mission out into the world, which at the end of the day is what this is all about. There was also a question about, are we open for campus visits? And absolutely we are. And if you call or reach out to our admission office, we will work with you to schedule a personalized visit to campus that will include a tour led by one of our student tour guides, an interview with one of our admission counselors, and we will connect you as well with people across campus. We're excited to see you.
Bart, I just wanted to add to that. Over these next few months, you have many choices to consider and many opportunities. And I just wanted to add that why do people choose the college that they ultimately end up going to? For many, it's because of the academic major and the faculty, and that's a really good reason. For many, it's because of the campus community, and that's a really good reason. For some, it's because they got a good financial aid package, and they find that it's affordable to go to their college. But you know what the #1 reason is for why young people choose the college which they ultimately end up attending? It's because they visited the campus and they just got a good feeling that it was the right place for them. Please come visit us. We encourage you to visit, because I know in my heart that when you've had an opportunity to sit on our campus, to watch the sunset over the other side of the lake, to experience the wonders of this very beautiful, tranquil place, that you'll share in that feeling and you'll want to be a part of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I want to enroll right now with that inspiration. Somewhere in the mix of this, I mentioned probably a couple of times traditions at Wells. We have many, many traditions, and it's one of the things that makes this place very special. And so as we draw this program to a close, what I'd like to do is invite each member of our panel to tell us about their favorite Wells College tradition. And I'm going to start with Dana.
I feel like there are so many traditions that I really enjoy and value. Whether they are large scale events like the one I am about to talk about, or whether they're just small, just getting an Ivy sophomore year is a very small thing that really is able to bring people together, and it's a really beautiful symbol of growth. But that is not the tradition that I'm going to talk about. I will talk about odd even, because I am representing the odd line today, and it is a campus tradition that I think every student really enjoys participating in, whether that's as a spectator or as a team member. A quick rundown of how it works is there are 2 different seasons for odd even. There's odd even in the fall, and then even odd in the spring, and they are both competitions between class years. So if you are coming in and you're going to be graduating in an odd number year like 2021 or 2015, then you are on the odd line. And vice versa, if you are graduating in an even number year, you are considered an even. And we typically take about 2 or 3 weeks each semester to prepare those who would like to compete against each other in a basketball game, a sing-off, a dodgeball game, and a dance-off. This year, we were able to host Odd Even in the fall, which I thank you all so much for. I don't think that we've thanked you enough for allowing us to put that tradition on, but it was wonderful and it was so important. The way that we kind of adapted it this year, instead of having a basketball game indoors, we did a kickball game outdoors. And we also shortened the season by a week so that everything was a little bit simpler, a little bit easier, and certainly more socially distanced. What Odd Even I think is really about, and why it is so important, is that it bonds you with upperclassmen when you're coming in. It bonds you with people who can help guide you, who have been at the school for a few years at that point. And it also works to kind of bond the whole community together in a sisterhood, because while up front it seems like it's more about competition than anything else, really what it is about getting together, having fun, meeting new people, and again, you know, meeting the people who have already been through the opening gates of Wells and who are established there and are confident and can help you navigate your first year. I also think that it's a really nice bonding agent for the alumni community in general. And it is such an easy thing to connect with people on. You know, if you meet somebody and you find out that they're from Wells College, if you ask them the first question, are you odd or are you even, then you kind of can start a bigger discussion about your experiences and you know, what Wells has done for you and how alumni may be able to provide you some support.
Thank you, Dana. Others who would want to share a favorite tradition? Cody.
Yeah, so I have kind of two traditions. One while I was at, you know, during my undergrad, and one now that I've graduated. The first one, it's certainly not as big as Odd Line, Even Line, but the idea of midnight breakfast before finals. I've really been thinking about this a lot these last couple days, and
That's amazing.
it really is amazing. It's I'm, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the night before finals officially start. Whether you're putting in, you know, 8 hours in the library, finishing up your thesis, or you're working on, you know, a paper for Professor Tecumbe, you get to go into the dining hall. It's, I think, you know, they say midnight. I think it's at 10 o'clock. And you actually get to walk through, and you have someone like Provost Speaker putting some eggs on your plate with, you know, there's some French toast sticks. And that was always something that really was amazing. The entire Wells community is in the dining hall, and, you know, you're all eating, you're all, you know, anxious about finals or excited about finals, and you get to be served breakfast from the administrative staff. So that was always really exciting for me. And then kind of on top of that, after I graduated, every year we do a alumni weekend for soccer, which is, you know, separate from everything else. I think just about every team does an alumni weekend, and it's just basically a weekend where everyone comes back. We have an alumni game. We get lots of support, where we have the alumni pegged against the current team. I always say that the alumni win, or they've won since the team won when I was a senior, and we've been winning as alumni since then. So don't want to bring that up, but that's always been so exciting. I know every single one of my teammates from when I was a freshman, the seniors that were there when I was a freshman, to the freshmen that were there when I was a senior. They are always so excited to come back. We were unfortunate enough last year we weren't able to have it, which, you know, COVID kind of put a peg in that, but regardless, it's always such an amazing experience to come back. You see all these family members of yours from teams past and present, and it's quite the experience.
Thank you, Cody. Others who want to share?
I'll share one. Just because I think it's, well, we're saying our favorite, so I guess I'm biased, right? Like, it's the most fun one to me. So convocation is my favorite, and I know Cindy, her first the first part of convocation is Cindy's favorite, but my favorite part of convocation. So everyone is in a circle. I won't explain the first part because Cindy might dive into it. So everyone is in a circle, and as soon as convocation concludes, someone yells, "To the lake!" And the entire campus community of students shoot across from in front of the McMillan Circle on campus. They run across the main lawn, Zabriskie lawn, and all the way down across the street to the dock, and they actually jump off of the dock into the lake as like a start to the year. It was amazing. Like my first day of work was the first day of classes or convocation day, and it blew me away. It was amazing. I actually ran with them. I didn't jump in the lake. No, I will though. I will.
John?
Yeah. So when I first came to Wells and was experiencing convocation in the honor code ceremony, I was sitting in the dining hall one day because I had been told by provost speaker that I had to wear my academic regalia. And I was like, oh man, it's hot out. Do I have to wear my regalia? So I was sitting in the dining hall, Dana, with a group of women having lunch. And we were just talking, and I was saying, you know, are you looking forward to convocation? Yes, very much. And I said, do we really have to wear our regalia? Why does that mean something to you all? And, you know, because at Wells, at every other college I've been at, seniors get their regalia like the week of commencement. At Wells, they get it in their junior year. So this one woman looked up at me, a student, and she said, President Gibraltar, we wear our regalia out of a symbol of respect for our faculty. It is because we so admire what they've done in their careers, that they've earned those credentials, that we wear our regalia out of respect for them. And I looked at this student and I said, that's the best explanation I've ever had. I get it. I'm wearing my regalia. I will never complain again.
I complain. But no, that's lovely. I'd not heard that. That's really special. I would say my favorite tradition is maybe a little bit smaller, more intimate, and it's that the days leading up to, actually the day before our graduation ceremony, the English department, and I know many other programs and departments do this as well, we gather our graduating seniors and their families, and we have a party for them. And we sort of celebrate them and you know, celebrate their accomplishments over the previous 4 years. And for me, as someone who teaches a lot of creative writing courses, I really want to meet these parents because I've heard things, I've read things, I want to put some faces behind some ideas that I have. And it is such a delight to do that. But it's also really, by the time these students are graduating, they feel like family, and to be able to meet their other family and to have those conversations where I say, oh, hey, thank you for Courtney. She's amazing. And then Courtney's mom is like, no, I've heard so much about you it's really, you get to see the larger network that has helped support these students who are so important to you at that point, that it really just does feel special. And it feels like this small sort of tight-knit Wells family that we've been talking about is actually quite expansive. It opens out with the students as the sort of centers of those connections, and it opens out into their families and into their communities. And it is just like it's a beautiful thing and a beautiful reminder of like the people who, for whom our work really matters. And it's really just, it's one of my most sort of heartwarming and enjoyable of the Wells traditions.
Well, I'd like to say that there is nowhere else in America where college graduates are escorted by stagecoach individually up to the platform where they will gather for commencement at graduation. That is just an amazing piece of tradition at Wells, that all our graduating seniors get to ride the stagecoach with the 4 horses pulling it up the hill to our commencement ceremony. And I don't think you'll find that anywhere else except at Wells.
I will stop here. And I want to thank our panelists very much for sharing your insights today. And I also want to thank our attendees, our students and family members who participated today. And you have asked an amazing array of excellent questions. And I'm just impressed with your level of engagement with us. And that says to me that Wells is very likely a very good fit for you. So we thank you, and we look forward to the next step. Contact us, come to campus, meet us in person, and let's continue this conversation. In front of you now, you see contact information for everybody that you've heard from today on our panel. And each of us is more than happy to take direct inquiries from you about anything we talked about today. And if we don't know the answer, we will connect you to the person who does. So thank you once again, and have a great weekend.